Hi guys, so this video has kind of been one of them things where I've like waited so long to do, and I'm kind of finally doing it, and it's all really scary. I think anyway. So today I'm going to be talking about my mental health kind of journey story. I kind of say journey because I don't think the story's like kind of ended. I'm still like experiencing mental health problems, but like I thought I'd talk you through kind of what I've been through. I've wanted to do this for a very long time, but it's one of them things where I didn't think I was ready to share with everyone, and I've come to the point now in my life where I can openly talk about it with people and I don't feel like this burden on me kind of thing. Like, I feel I want to help other people, and that's why I'm doing it. So what I'm going to talk to you today about is my experience with social anxiety and anxiety around food and being sick. I'm not exactly sure what the correct term for that is, but I'm just going to talk about it like that because I'm not sure what it's called. With my anxiety, I think I've always been an anxious person, and I know loads of people say that, but from what I can remember through like school, through secondary school, from like probably 14, 15, I thought I was very much a worrier about everything. I can't really remember a time where I wasn't worrying about something, and I know that's like normal as a teenager. You have so many things to like worry about, like boys, friends, school, and like there's so much to consider, but I felt like I in particular was a much more just like anxious about like everything. I was pretty much very anxious throughout the whole school since I was like 15, 16, but it never got to a point where I felt like I needed help. And to me, I thought being anxious was like normal. Like at that age I thought that it's normal to feel that way, so like it's not really a big deal. But then it got to the point when I was going into sixth form, when I was about 17. A lot of my friends left to go to college. I was left at sixth form, and if I'm honest, I didn't like school. I don't know, I just didn't like it. I just wanted to get out there and just be in this big wide world and just like not be in that environment anymore. I was kind of hanging around with people that weren't really my kind of people, but like I didn't really know who else to hang around with. And they weren't a very good influence, if I'm honest. So I kind of like went out of control. I felt really down all the time. Like I skipped class. Basically, I hung around with bad people. I kind of just felt really, really low. But when I was, I think it was 16, 17, so I can't remember exactly. Sadly, my stepmom passed away in a car accident, and my dad was in the car as well. He was driving the car, and they just had a newborn baby. They were just driving back from the hospital, and basically this collision happened. They drove into a river, and by the good Lord, like thankfully my dad got out alive, by like a miracle that some like standby people were there, but unfortunately my stepmom didn't, and unfortunately she died along with the baby as well. And it was a really tough time for me because I was going through a lot through school. I didn't enjoy it, and then I had this kind of like bombshell, and I felt a lot of pressure. To be there for him, and he was obviously like completely distraught about what everyone thinks happened. So yeah, I think that was the trigger moment for me through like feeling really low and anxious about stuff. So fast forward, I by miracle passed my A-levels from not even going to school, and I went to university. I studied veterinary nursing at university. I never had a problem with being anxious then. Like I was always going out, like believe me, I was going out 3 times a week. I was always wanting to go like meet new people. Obviously at university you're meeting new people all the time, and I never felt anxious about it. And then it got to my last year at university. I was on a work placement back home at a veterinary practice, and I struggled through that as well, meeting the team I worked with. I didn't really kind of click with. I went on holiday that year when I was still in the placement. I went to Ayia Napa, and the first night we were out and I ate something, and the next day I woke up and I was in so much pain. I was throwing up. I was just an absolute mess and I was very, very sick, and I went to the hospital and I got diagnosed with gastroenteritis. I've never felt so alone, in so much pain in my life when I was there, and like that was the moment that my anxiety around food in particular, and just in general social anxiety as well, came from that. I came home from the holiday. I was very, very sick still, because obviously when you take antibiotics, like your stomach is in a bad way. I had like symptoms of IBS, which I don't know if I want to go too much into, because who wants to hear about that stuff. Yeah, and that was horrible. So my anxiety around food happened, I think it must have been like October last year, so October 2016. I would be really obsessive over what I was eating because I didn't want to get ill. Like my fear was I don't want to eat that, or I don't want to eat anything, because if I do then I'll be ill, and like being ill for me was like the worst possible thing. Like honestly, even the thought of being ill made me feel ill. So you can kind of tell like it was just like a spiral out of control kind of situation for me. Would avoid eating like out, and I think this is where my anxiety with food and social anxiety kind of like came hand in hand. Because I felt anxious around food, I wouldn't go out like to meet my friends. I wouldn't go out like and just I wouldn't want to go out to eat basically, because I didn't want to be ill in front of people in case I was, like if I ate something I'll be ill. It was just like a really, really shit time, because I went from this person that was like always so like so positive, so happy, and I was like so sociable, like through university I really was. And then I went to this point where I was hardly going out, and I just was ill, like I was just anxious all the time. I think it was like November, December time, like I was literally feeling, as soon as I woke up I would feel like this, it was like this like cloud, I don't know how to explain it, like this cloud of like anxiety. Like I wake up and I'll be like, I don't want to go to work. And I admit there's been times where I felt so anxious that I'll call in sick and just like make some excuse, because I just didn't want to, I couldn't face going in. Like I always explain it, like I used to always look at people like on the street and be like, how are they like going about their lives? And I feel like I'm like really struggling. Like I felt like it was like this uphill struggle, and I didn't understand why, that I couldn't even, it felt like every day was a struggle to get through. It was like if I've got through a day I'm like, thank God I've got through it. It was a struggle to get in my car and go to the doctors because I felt that anxious, and it was just like, this isn't normal. Like I don't want to live my life like this. Like I honestly felt like this is what I'm just gonna have to deal with for the rest of my life, and that was it really. So I went to my doctor. I felt more comfortable talking, like I feel more comfortable talking to people that I don't know about this than people that I do know, because it's kind of like that non-judgmental thing. Like I just really wouldn't want to go talk to people that I know. So yeah, I went to the doctor's. He prescribed me propranolol, like a low dose propranolol, which is like a beta blocker, so it just like slows down your heart rate. It's kind of, sometimes I think the doctors give it to you before they give you the antidepressants. At the time I was like, I really need these antidepressants. Like I just felt like nothing else was gonna help, and I was like, please just give them to me. And he was just like, I don't want to give you antidepressants because I don't think you're that bad. And when I heard that I was like, really? I was like, okay, whatever, I'll take the propranolol. I don't think it's gonna work, but okay. So I was taking propranolol like 2 or 3 times a day, and it kind of helped, but it didn't it didn't help the root cause of my problems. It just masked them, and it just kind of helped me go through my day. But I still felt anxious like all the time when I wake up. I took propranolol for like a few weeks, and then I went back to my doctors and I was like, okay, I think I want to try this, like I've been reading about this CBT therapy, which is cognitive behavioural therapy, which I've heard has helped like conditions such as anxiety and depression. So luckily with my job I had private healthcare, so thankfully that I got the therapy within like 2 to 3 weeks. I think I got like my first date for my appointment, and I'm so thankful because like I know there's so many people that are like on the NHS and like have to wait like months and months, and I just like, it makes me sad because if that was me, I don't know, like it just makes me really upset that people have to wait so long to get that kind of help. At my first actual appointment in April, and I've got 12 sessions, and I've just finished my last session 2 weeks ago. This therapy like completely changed my life. Yeah, it just completely changed my life. My cognitive behavioural therapy had this therapist called Nicole, and she was absolutely wonderful. And the first session I was so nervous, and she basically she went through like a kind of questionnaire to like get to know me. It was really tough. Like she brought up stuff from like my childhood, which I do still struggle through till like this day. I still struggle with stuff like that, but not to the extent that I used to. Like it really bothered me, and now I'm like, now I've gone through the therapy, I've learnt these techniques on how to like counteract my anxious thoughts. Now, like I like to say now, I wouldn't say that it completely cured me, and I think that would be very naive for me to think that anyway. But now like I can go out. I'll still feel like a little bit apprehensive beforehand, like before if I'm going out to like a party and there's gonna be new people there that I haven't met before, but not to the extent where before I would literally like have panic attacks like all the time. And yeah, now like I'm a bit more excited, and like I said that to my therapist, I was like, I want to feel, by the end of these sessions, I want to feel excited to go out again like I used to, because it felt like this anxiety wasn't me. Like it's like this thing in your head like telling you can't do something, and like it's always like talking to you, and like I feel like I've kind of beaten her down a little bit. And yeah, I've always said to my therapist like, this anxiety isn't me, and like I'm like this positive person, yet this anxiety kind of diminishes her, and I'm like losing myself. And I've always said like I felt like I was losing my soul a lot, because I know to some people that might sound a bit silly, but it did feel like I was like losing my soul, and I just wasn't happy. I just wasn't happy at all. Now I feel so much happier. My anxiety around food has honestly like completely changed. I don't think about what I'm eating now. Sorry. I don't think what I'm eating now, I just eat intuitively, and I think it, like that thing is just like, that complete method is just like completely blown my mind. I eat what my body tells me to eat. I put on weight, and when I was going for like the beginning of my anxiety with my food, I lost so much weight. People were like, oh my god, you've lost so much weight, like you look great. And like, yeah, I look great, but my mental health was like completely off the rail. People didn't understand what I was going through at the time, so they just saw outside like I was looking great, I was losing a bit of weight, and I was never like overweight at all. But obviously people congratulate you when you lose weight, but when you put on weight, it's like you're out of control, and it's like completely opposite for me. I put on like a few pounds, I'd say, like not a great deal, but for the sake of my mental health, that I'll take that any day. Like, losing weight will never make you happy if your mental health is not happy. So any day I'll never ever sacrifice my mental health ever again for like food and like around like weight loss and stuff, which I could like do a whole other video on, because I feel like that's such a big topic. But yeah, like my anxiety around food, obviously that my anxiety around food was because I was ill in hospital, and that was kind of like a traumatic experience for me, which triggered it. So I've kind of gotten over that now, and yeah, like I'm just in a much happier place. I have also, I don't know if I wanted to mention this, I've recently come off the pill. There's been like some articles about how it's linked to mental health and depression, anxiety. And I would never say that the pill, because I've been on the pill since I was like 18, and this was like before I had my anxiety, so I'm no way saying that the pill caused my anxiety at all. But if there was something that was contributing to it, why was I still taking it? Like, why? I'm doing all this like work with therapy and like my medication, but if I'm taking some hormonal pill that's just like completely altering my body and like how it works, then maybe I should just try and come off it and just see how I feel. And I think I'm going to do a video on the whole pill and anxiety thing, because I feel like the pill is completely, since coming off it, I've noticed so much of a difference in how I feel. Like, I feel more like alive. I don't know, does that sound weird? I feel like more alive. I feel more aware of of life, and I felt like the pill, I'll say this now, I'm never going back on the pill. It was kind of like masking like my feelings. Like I always felt like I was either really, really sad or really, really happy. Like I was never in between. And now I feel like I'm more balanced, like I can feel like content. That's kind of it with my mental health story. I will never say that I'm cured of anxiety. Like, believe me, there is still some days where I really struggle with it. I still kind of get really anxious with meeting new people, and yeah, like people, yeah, you can get nervous with meeting new people, but when it starts to actually affect your life and like stop you from doing things, that's when it got to the point where I was like, okay, there's obviously something wrong here, like I need to talk to someone about this. Now I'm just like more excited about the future. I've recently just been offered a job as a mental health care assistant with the NHS, which is like so exciting, and I'm so happy that I can like finally help other people going through similar situations. I'm working with older people at the first, but my ultimate goal is to work with children and like teenagers with mental health problems. If anything's come out of what I've been through, that is like the most important thing for me. I feel like my purpose now is to like help others going through similar things anyway, what I've gone through. And that makes me excited, because I tell you, 3 months ago you asked me what you think you should do with your life or what your purpose is. I wouldn't have had a clue, and now I'm like, I want to help people. Like, it makes you feel good, like, and yeah, I'm really excited. I'm gonna go now, and I hope this video was useful to other people maybe that have gone through like similar situations. And I just don't like the stigma around talk about mental health, because there's like so many people go through this. I felt very vulnerable talking about anxiety and my personal problems, but I've always said with vulnerability comes strength, and if this helps one person, then that's enough for me. And also talk about it just helps me as well as a person, so I'm very glad that I've spoken out about it. I just felt like I needed to talk about this, and it's kind of like a weight lifted off kind of thing. So yeah, I'm gonna go now, but thanks for tuning in. See you later.